Hello, a Rosie math teacher coming at you from my fourth period accelerated grade 7 math class, where I have promised some of my earlier period students that I would start with numbers 32 and 31 and then cover the rest of the lesson because we didn't quite get there when they were in the room. So, question 32 on today's review for our FAST math exam here in the state of Florida. I have a lot of kids that are actively listening. Yes. They have their calculators ready. They have their slope formulas ready. All right, question 32. We will select the response that indicates whether the equation is true or false. So if the equation is correct, it has the same values on both sides, we will say what, class? True. If the equation has different values on both sides, we will say false. That is correct. All right, let's begin with the very top item on number 32. Do you notice that they have set it up with 4.3x plus 7 times negative 0.2x equaling negative 0.86x squared plus 1.4x. Now, first things first, we are going to combine these two terms because what they are actually doing is the distributive property. Do you notice how sometimes they give the number that needs to be multiplied by both items inside the parentheses, they give it last instead of first? I don't know if you're like me, but my brain likes to see this amount in front of the parentheses. So please do this now on your paper. Write negative 0.2x, beginning parentheses, 4.3x plus 7, ending parentheses. Do not also put it at the end. Isn't it okay, using the commutative property of multiplication, to take what used to be at the end and switch it to the beginning? Are we allowed to do that? Yes. Our amount will still be equivalent to what it otherwise would have been. Class, draw an arrow from negative 0.2x over to 4.3x. Everybody draw that arrow now. And then on your calculator, either online or the handheld one, what are we going to enter into it to multiply? 0.2, if you're using the handheld, 0.2, and then tap the positive negative key and it will put that negative sign in front of it. I'm not entering an X on my calculators, but I'm doing negative 0.2 times what amount? Times 4.3, and I get, please raise your hand if you can tell me what you get. Go ahead. Excellent. So class, please write negative 0.86. Wave if you agree. We can confirm. Excellent. And then don't forget, once I have multiplied my coefficient by coefficient, I now need to multiply my x by my x. Hey guys, what do we call x times x? X squared. Do you all understand how we got negative 0.86x squared? Okay? Next step, I still need to multiply my beginning amount times my ending amount inside the parentheses. This time, do we have any x beside that 7, yes or no? No. So we are just multiplying negative 0.2x times 7. Using your calculator, what are you about to do? 0.2 with a negative sign in front of it. Oops, I accidentally did my fraction key. 0.2, negative sign in front of it. And then times what? Times 7. Now again, if you prefer your online calculator, please use that. Use either one, whichever one works best for you. As I'm looking at my calculator, raise your hand if you think you know what my screen is saying. Okay, go. Negative 1.4. Now I have a question. Since the 7 does not have an x, what will I do with this x? Will I keep it or get rid of it? I will keep it. Excellent. It just doesn't get multiplied by another power of x. So guys, circle the amount you now have. Negative 0.86x squared minus 1.4x. Hey, does that match exactly with the other side of your equal sign? Okay, why? Okay, good job. Because when we did negative times positive 7, we got a negative sign, didn't we? So we are going to say F for false on that item, aren't we? Okay, move on to the next item on number 32. On number 32, it shows 6.76x minus 34.32 equals, which side are we simplifying this time? Is it the left side or the right side? It is the right side. The left side is already simplified. So now I'm going to go and ask what number is getting multiplied by everything in parentheses. 5.2. Class, please write 5.2. Beginning parentheses, 1.3x, take away 6.6, ending parenthesis. And we're going to multiply what times what? Say it, please. 5.2 times?
1.3.
Excellent. Use whichever calculator. 5.2 times 1.3 equaling, say it to me. 6.76. Wave at me to confirm. Excellent. What will I do with that single x I had? I will keep it. Thank you. And then for the second part inside the parentheses, I will do 5.2 times what? Negative 6.6. Don't forget the negative. So I will do 5.2 times, if I'm using the handheld, after I do 6.6, I tap the negative key, and then I tap the equals. Raise your hand if you want to tell me what you got. Go ahead.
Negative 34.32.
Wave for confirmation of negative 34.32. Excellent. So minus 34.32. Guys, did I have any x value that I needed to copy there? No, I did not. Those were both numerals. So let's check the other side. Does that match the left side of the equation exactly? Yes. So what will you say for the second item? You will say true. Do you feel like you now understand how to solve the last two items? In the same, I see someone shaking their head. So let's do this. Raise your hand and wave if you need me to talk about the third item. Okay? Raise your hand and wave if you also need me to talk about the fourth item. Okay, I am going to talk about both of those then. All right, so let's go ahead and look at the third item. First of all, what do you think I'm going to multiply? 2.5x times? Negative 3.4x. So I am going to let you do this math part on your own. In your calculator, type 2.5 times negative 3.4. Please do not say the answer for the lazy people. Write the answer down on your paper. And then multiply x times x, which means I will write what beside that number I just wrote? X squared. Excellent. Then I will do 2.5x times what? 5.7. This time, I will multiply the number 2.5 times the number 5.7. I will then write plus that amount. And then didn't I have an x that I need to keep? Yes. So I will write that x that I need to keep. Then I will compare. If what I got in my red section was negative 8.5x, I'm good to go. If what I got in my black section was negative or minus 14.25, I'm good to go. And if both are correct, I would pick true. If they are not both correct, I would pick false. Does anyone not know how to do the third item still? Okay, let's talk about the fourth item. Again, remember, I'm not giving you the answers. I see some people not writing. Please write. Begin by writing the fourth item. It is 1.62x squared plus 19.8x equaling negative 0. Well, wait, I'm going to do something. What do you know I want to do with these items? Don't I want to move the smaller piece in front of the distributive property parentheses? Yes. So I will actually guys, I am going to leave that left-hand one written down so you can see it easily. But I'm going to move my negative 1.8x to the front, negative 1.8x to the beginning, and then beginning parentheses, negative 0.9x minus 11. What would my first step be? Do what with negative 1.8x and negative 0.9x? What will I do with those, guys? Multiply. Do we at least have that down? Wave at me if you already knew we were going to multiply those. Okay, what is the item you will put in your calculator out of inside my circle? What's the only part you'll put in your calculator? Negative 1.8. And then you'll multiply it by, what will you put in your calculator out of this? Negative 0.9. You will write that number down as your coefficient. Now, how about the x times the x? What will you write on your paper for that? X squared. And then how about negative 1.8x and negative 11? What will you do there? Negative 1.8 times negative 11. Guys, I know that's going to be a positive, so I'm going to write a plus sign. I write down the number I got on my calculator. And then was there any value of x I need to include here? This is negative 1.8x times negative 11. So put the numbers in the calculator, and then let's just think about the x values. Did I have any x's involved in this situation? I'm hearing some people say no, and I'm very curious about that, because we just agreed we were going to multiply negative 1.8x times negative 11. So would I be correct if I only wrote a number here? No. I need that number, but what needs to go beside it? X. Thank you. Then I compare to my original equation or expression, 1.62x squared plus 19.8x. Please do not say out loud whether or not your item matches, but if it does, you would say true. If it does not, you would say false. Do you understand how to complete item 32? Okay, let's go back to item 31. This is your situation where we've got a person who is 1.5 meters tall. So here's my person. How tall are they? 1.5 meters. And it says their shadow that is cast on the ground is how long? Oh, it's shorter than them. Okay, so 1.2 meters. All right, now if I am comparing that to, at the same time, a building casts a shadow that is 5.5 meters long, and a flagpole casts a shadow that is 4 meters long, and then they ask me how much taller is the building than the flagpole. Do you agree that we need to first find two different heights, and then do what with those two different heights? Subtract them. Okay, we're actually not going to worry about dividing anything. I would prefer you do the what I know versus what I want to know equivalent ratios. So guys, if I literally just view this as a what I know ratio, what did I put as my numerator? The person's actual height. So I'm putting the actual in the numerator, and I'm putting the what in the denominator? The shadow in the denominator. So if this is the what I know situation, what will I write across, across from it for the what I want to find? The first shape or the first object is the building. It casts a shadow that is 5.5 meters long. So where will I write 5.5? In the actual section or in the shadow section? The shadow section, 5.5. What would I then do to solve? Cross multiply, divide by lonely number. Will that give me the building's actual height? And then you would rewrite your what I know section and rewrite your what I want to find section again, except this time it would put what for the flagpole shadow? What would be in place of the flagpole shadow? 4. So once again, you would cross multiply, divide by lonely number. What would you get for the flagpole? the actual height of the flagpole. Then you go back, take your actual height for the building, your actual height for the flagpole, and because they want to know how much taller is the building than the flagpole, you will do what with those two numbers? You will subtract. Do I have any further questions on that item? Okay, and I'm not expecting you to necessarily solve it completely and get it right before we move on. So make sure you've written yourself enough little notes to remember. And guys, I do want every single person looking up here for a reminder about an item that has caused children lots of struggle today, and I am prepared to help you out. Everyone on your screen, please go to question 26. The vertices of a triangle are located at 2, 5. Everyone in this room, you have a little grid. We went to a lot of trouble to do the little stamp, right? Okay, please plot a point at 2, 5. So where are you heading 2 steps? To the what from the point of origin? To the right 2 steps. And then where are you heading for 5 steps? Up 5 steps. Please do that and plot it on your grid right now. Then for your next ordered pair, 5, 1. Plot that. How will you travel from the point of origin? You'll go how many steps? 5. What direction? Right. And then how many in what direction for the next thing? Up 1. And you'll plot that. The final plotted point is at 1, -1. So this time you'll go to the right how many steps? 1. And then what direction 1 step? Down. And plot that. I hope yours looks just like mine. Is yours matching mine? My red one. Do you guys all see the red? Okay, let me get rid of some of this so that you can follow as I do it. Let me get rid of that and that. Okay, what are they asking you to find? Perimeter. What is perimeter of a triangle? The distance what? On the outside edges. Excellent. Remember we talked about Mr. Perimeter is going for a walk. And he's going do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do. By the time he finishes his walk back where he started, he has walked the full perimeter. That's the name, perimeter. You get it. Okay. Now in the case of this particular triangle, do you notice that all of the lines are going diagonally through spaces? None of them are landing conveniently on spaces that we can count. So here's what I want you to think. Oh yes, I remembered how to find the measurement of a diagonal line. I will create a right triangle and let each of these be a hypotenuse. Do the first one with me. So using this line right here, I'll highlight this one as well so then I can use a highlight term. Please go to the line I have highlighted in turquoise or blue, whatever color you see, and I want you to turn that into the hypotenuse of a right triangle. So beginning at this point, head to the right until you are above the other point. Do you see how it creates a what? A right triangle. Label the shortest leg A and the next leg B and the hypotenuse C. Everybody doing this right now on your paper. I'm not sure why I see some children not doing it. Please make sure you are doing it. A, B, C. Class, what is the Pythagorean theorem that states something we need to know for this situation? What is it?
A squared plus B squared.
Love it. A squared plus B squared equaling C squared. You got it. So I'm going to ask myself, hey, do I know how many spaces A is worth? What is it? So under A squared, write what? 3 squared. Under 3 squared, write what it is worth. What is it worth? 9. Great job. So happy nobody said 6. All right. Plus, what is my length for B? 4. So I'm going to write 4 squared. What is the value of 4 squared? 16. So let's math. What is 9 plus 16? 25. And what do you need to do to that 25 so it goes back to being the length of that side? Square root it. And if you should forget, ask yourself this. Well, if I square root 9, would I go back to the original length of the side 3? Yes. If I square root 16, does it go back to the original length of the side 4? Then also if I square root 25, does it go back to the original length of the side 5? So what do I now know my C value is worth? It is worth 5. But guys, that's only one side. Now I need to repeat the process with the other two sides before I can add them together to find perimeter. Do you see what to do for the yellow hypotenuse? What do you think I'm going to do if I start right? Let me get my pointer. What if I start right here? What direction do I need to travel? To the right. And then travel what direction? Up. And then count the number along the short leg for A squared. Count the number along the longer leg for B squared. Do the math. And then square root what you get and put that number here for the hypotenuse highlighted yellow. Then your final shape, you will go like this. You'll go straight up, straight over. It's very, very skinny. You might get confused at first, but don't you agree that still creates a right triangle? I'll do my short side distance, A squared, my longer side distance, B squared, equaling my hypotenuse or pink highlighted distance, C squared, and then I'll what it? Square root it. Once you know that number, what can you then do with all three numbers? You can add them together and you will get your perimeter. Do you feel like you have any further questions on how to solve this? You should be able to finish the others based on what we did for that item. All right, I do want you to look up at the screen and let me know, do you need me to say anything about item 28? Which expression is equivalent to 32x squared plus 40y? I feel like we just practiced doing this. Let me just say this. You would do 72 times x squared. You would do 72 times y. If you get this amount, you pick it. If you don't, you don't pick it. You do that with every item. This one, you don't have to do anything. It's already simplified. This one, what would I multiply? Oh, you probably can't see it. 8 times 4x squared plus 5y. So I would do 8 times 4. What would I get? 32. So that would be 32x squared. And then 8 times 5, what would I get? So that would be plus 40y. If it matches, you pick it. If it doesn't, you don't. Do I have any further questions on that particular item? Okay, I want you to look up here. It's okay, guys, if you have to go back to your notes to finish answering these items. I have had lots of questions today also on question 29. Can you guys please go to question 29 right now? You definitely want to look at question 29. You will select yes or no to indicate the solution for each inequality. It's been a minute since we solved inequalities. So let's look at our first inequality right here. Now, first of all, let me explain this. Do you all understand that for each of the inequalities stacked on the left side, I am finding which of the items at the top are the answer or the equivalent solution to that inequality. For example, if my first one, the first item is the answer, I will select Y for yes, and then I would put no on all the other three. You will never have more than one yes in a row. Are you clear on that? Okay. I have some people who look like they are not following. I highly recommend you follow. You are going to cry if you don't follow on this one. I promise you. All right. Not to be dramatic or anything. On your paper, please write 0 is greater than or equal to negative x plus 6. Now, guys, before we begin this, remember these two things. If you multiply or divide by a negative, what do you do with the sign? Flip the sign. Also, if you ever have, what do you notice about all of the answer choices? What is always listed on the left? The x. But on some of the items you solve, the x might end up over on the right. So for example, if I had a number that was greater than or less than x, when I write it to find the correct value, I'm going to write it in reverse. So I'm going to write what happens first? X. And then what piece of the inequality symbol is basically touching the space beside x? The skinny part or the big part? Skinny part. So I need the skinny part to still be facing the x. And put that equivalent. And then put my number. So there are two reasons your brain will feel like you're flipping the sign. Now this one, you're not really flipping it. You're just flipping the objects, so you have to make the sign follow them. It's kind of like this. If you're pointing at somebody and they're running circles around you, aren't you still pointing at them? Yeah. Even though at first you were pointing this way, but then when they started running in a circle, now you're pointing this way. But you're still pointing at them, yes? So this alligator mouth is pointing at x. It's pointing at x here, it's pointing at x here. Do you follow that? Same if there were a number that's that's less than or equal to x. Remember how the alligator mouth is ready to eat its bigger size snack. Yes? Won't the alligator mouth still follow the bigger size victim wherever the bigger size victim goes? So you know that it would end up being x is what then? Good, greater than or equal to that number. So please remember those important rules for how you're solving this one. And yes, I am going back to help you with the first item. So the first one was 0 is greater than or equal to negative x plus 6. Guys, remember you solve inequalities very much like you solve equations. Go to the variable side and find the constant there. Circle the constant. What is it? Okay, that's a little slow. I hope we're really remembering. And do the inverse operation, which is what? Minus 6. About 6 people told me. Yay! Okay, and then do this on both sides. Minus 6. Guys, I think you can probably do this mentally. What is 0 take away 6? Negative 6. Great job. Now, did we just multiply or divide by negative?
No.
So we do not flip the sign. So copy that sign for now. Now on the other side, the 6's cancel out, and I only copy what? Negative x. Now go to the variable side and find the variable. X is the variable. And it's being what? By, you don't see the number, but what number is there?
1.
Negative 1. It's being multiplied by negative 1. And do the inverse operation, which is divide by what? Negative 1. Do this on both sides. Guys, did I just multiply or divide by a negative? Yes. So do what with the sign? Flip it. My wise students are doing this with me right now and writing this out right now. If you do not, you're falling asleep. Some of you are falling asleep. You get really sleepy after your lunch. I'm so happy for you. But I do need you to follow along. All right, what's negative 6 divided by negative 1? Say it. 6. Oh, I love that enthusiasm. And then on the right, negative 1 over negative 1 cancels out. What is the only thing left? X. But wait, isn't that on the wrong side? Yes. So let's rewrite it in reverse. Write your X first. Now, the alligator mouth is ready to chomp on the X. Did the X switch sides? Yes. So now the alligator mouth is ready to chomp on it this way. Do you see what I'm showing you? So you're not flipping the sign, you're just making the mouth follow the X. So what will I now draw? Greater than or equal to. What amount? 6. Do you see one of those in the top? X is greater than or equal to 6. It cannot be a negative 6. Do you see it at the very end? So X is greater than or equal to 6. What will you choose under that? Yes. What will you choose on all 3 others in that top row? No. I feel like I have taken you far enough on this item unless someone has a question on one of the later items. Does anyone have a question on one of the later items? Okay. Let me see. Do we need to talk about item? We already talked about 31, didn't we? And nobody today has had a question on 30, so I think you're probably good there. Do we need to talk at all about item, it is 25. This is item number 25. Does anybody need me to talk about, and I know you haven't read it yet, let me read it. Grain is pouring out of a grain silo at a constant rate. Oh, we're talking about this, I remember now. After 9 minutes, 11 tons of grain remain in the silo. After 15 minutes, 9 tons of grain remain. What is the slope of the line that represents this relationship? Guys, I reminded you to use your grade 8 fast mathematics reference sheet. If you are at home and you don't have it, you can literally Google it online and a PDF will pop up of the grade 8 fast mathematics reference sheet. Okay? When you see that, you will see how to find slope using changes in y over changes in x. Who can read to me what it says at the top of the changes in y over changes in x? Okay, nobody's going to. That's fine. So y with a 2 down low, that means second value of y. Copy that on your paper right now. Second value of y, take away what value of y, class? First value of y. Okay, and it goes over top of what value of x? Second value of x, take away what? First value of x. Now guys, how can we figure out if the 9 is the x or the y? Think about graphs that you have created before. Draw a giant L, and where do you think you will almost always see the minutes labeled? On the x-axis. I heard somebody say on the bottom. Great job. So now we know that the minutes are the what values? The x values. So the 9 minutes and then the 15 minutes, they are both your x values. 15 is the what x value, the first or the second? The second one they gave you. And 9 is therefore the what? The first one they gave you. Now what label do you think would likely be along the y-axis? Tons. So what is 11? It is which y value? The first y. This is the first phrase they gave you, so that's how we knew it was the first y. And then what's the second y that they gave you? 9. So label all of those. So 9 is your second value of y. So what am I going to write in place of y's second value? I'm going to write 9 there in my numerator. 9 take away, what was the first value of y?
11.
It is 11. So I erase the y1 and I write 11. Now guys, it's very important. When you put 9 minus 11 in your calculator, which number must go in there first? 9. So please do 9 minus 11. What amount does it say? I'm so glad you remembered the -2. Over top of, now what was the second x value, guys? The second x value was 15. And the first x value was 9. Now subtract in that order. 15 take away 9 is 6. Now, how many negative signs do I see in my fraction? 1. So please down below, write 1 negative sign. And now write this in simplified form. If you don't know, can you use the calculator? 2, and then the ABC key for the fraction bar, 6, and then equals 1/3. I hope this helps. -1/3.